Good evening, and welcome to tonight's Zoning Board of Appeals virtual meeting. As per Executive Order 202-28 by the Governor of the State of New York, the town of Smithtown is required to continue hosting all public meetings, either in person, in which case we must prohibit physical public contact, or public meetings can be held remotely via conference call or similar services. Additionally, per the executive order, the town continues to live stream, record, and transcribe each meeting. Governor Cuomo stated at the beginning of the pandemic that all levels of government must continue to function as normal or as close to normal as possible. As a reminder for any resident wishing to view tonight's meeting, you can do so by clicking on the Agendas and Meeting button on the homepage of the town's website at www.smithtownnewyork.gov. You are all here tonight seeking relief from the Smithtown zoning ordinances, and it's our job to try to help you achieve the relief you are requesting whenever possible. It's up to you to provide us with precise and accurate information so we can make a decision based on the facts that you present here tonight. The board must consider the 5 area variance considerations in order to render a decision, and they are as follows. Number 1, whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by the granting of the variance. Number 2, whether the benefit sought by the applicant can be achieved by some other method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance. Number 3, whether the requested area variance is substantial. Number 4, whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. And number 5, whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the board and shall not necessarily preclude the granting of the area variance. The following procedures will be implemented for tonight's meeting. Cases will be called in the order they are advertised. After your case is announced by Mr. Donadio, the moderator will connect you to the meeting so that you can present your case to the board. After your case has been presented to the board, if any board members have any questions, they will be asked. Next, any interested party who would like to speak on the case will be given one opportunity to do so. Then the applicant will be given the opportunity to respond to any questions or concerns, after which the case will be closed. Once the public hearing is closed, no further information will be accepted concerning the case. You can contact the planning board after 12 p.m. tomorrow for the status of your case. We do have 2 adjournments tonight. The first adjournment is case number 18461 VEA 181 Realty Corporation. That has been adjourned to April 13th. The next adjournment is case 18449 CTU Properties of New York LLC. That has been adjourned to March 30th. And case number 18283 CCI Design, that application has been withdrawn. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first case on the agenda, case number 18450, Daniela Caspari, 143 St. Nicholas Avenue, Smithtown. The location of the property is the east side of St. Nicholas Avenue, 308 feet north of Gillett Drive. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the minimum front yard from 40 feet to 35 feet for an existing 80 square foot porch, to reduce the minimum side yard from 12 feet to 10 feet, to reduce total side yards from 28 feet to 24 feet for an existing 251 square foot second floor deck.
Can I have the applicant, please?
Hello, how are you?
Good evening. Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Sure. My name is Daniela Caspari, and the address is 143 St. Nicholas Avenue, Smithtown, New York, 11787.
Thank you. And you are here tonight because?
As I'm for variance for both, for an existing portico and deck. I was here when I purchased my home back in 2015. This is all prior existing things that were here before I moved in.
All right. Is there anyone on the board has any questions on this application?
No, thank you.
No?
No questions.
Does planning have any questions or concerns?
No, thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to be heard on this application?
Chairman, I have no one with their hands raised. I will just remind folks that if they do want to speak on an application, to please utilize the raise hand function, which is in the lower right-hand corner. Looks like a smiley face. You push that button and your raise hand function will show up. I will yield back to you, Chairman.
Okay, so there's no one in the audience. All right, can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved. Second.
Motion has been made. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you. Good evening.
The next case on the agenda, case number 18460, Lark Mustapich, 117 Lone Oak Path, Smithtown. The location of the property, the north side of Lone Oak Path, 400 feet east of Laurel Drive. The property is zoned R21. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum front yard from 50 feet to 42 feet for a proposed 3,809 square foot, two-story single-family dwelling with a 621 square foot attached garage and 234 square foot front porch.
Is the applicant here?
Yes,
Good evening. Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
sure. Ken Schulman, 209 Lynn Avenue, East Northport.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you the applicant?
I'm the architect. The owner is there as well.
Do you have power of attorney?
They're here too, if you'd like to speak to them.
Yes, I would need the applicant first.
Okay, all right. My name is Lark Mustapich at 117 Lone Oak Path, Smithtown, New York, 11787.
Okay, and would you like this gentleman to speak on your behalf?
Yes, I would, please.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Thank
Now,
you.
could you state your name, spell your last name, and give the address for the record, please?
Sure. Ken Schulman, SCHULMAN, 209 Lynn Avenue, East Northport.
Okay,
Good evening, board members. We are proposing to replace the existing dwelling with a new dwelling that will meet all of the zoning requirements, except we are proposing a front setback of 42 feet where 50 feet is required. The hardship in meeting the front setback requirement is that the property has a fairly steep slope right behind the new dwelling. If the house was moved any further back, a lot of regrading and expensive retaining walls would have to be installed. I've included pictures of the topography with this application that show this condition. I believe that the variances requested is not substantial because only a small portion of the garage, 125 square feet to be exact, will encroach on the setback. The bulk of the dwelling will have over a 60-foot front yard setback. The existing house also has a non-conforming front setback of 41 feet, and 275 square feet of the current house encroaches into the setback. I've also included diagrams in this application that show the small area within the front setback actually is relative to the size of the new house. I also feel that the new dwelling will be an attractive addition to the neighborhood and will definitely be in keeping with the character of the surrounding area, which does have a number of recently renovated homes of similar size and style. The owner looks forward to being able to build a new modern house on the property and in the area that she has enjoyed for many years. If the board has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
I will ask, thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thank you. No, thank you. No question.
Planning, any questions?
Just one for Mr. Schulman. It appears that the west side yard setback would be approximately 40 feet for the new proposed dwelling. Would it be possible to slide the house slightly to the west to increase the setback in the front yard to meet the required 50 feet?
I don't believe it could be slid enough to meet the setback. We did explore that. I think that would bring us, fairly close to the other property. So the house now is sort of centered on the property. I think there's no real way we could meet the 50-foot setback and avoid some of the regrading of the property and creating some environmental issues.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to be heard on this application?
Chairman, no one has their hands raised.
All right. Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved. Second.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Thank you very much and good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
The next case on the agenda is case number 18462, Everbrook Academy LLC, 740 Route 347, Smithtown. The location of the property, the north side of Route 347, approximately 1,700 feet east of Terry Road. The property is zoned OB. The applicant is requesting variances to permit a wall sign not to face a public street, to increase the maximum height of a wall sign for the east side elevation from 15 feet to 23 feet, to increase the maximum height of a wall sign on the south elevation from 15 feet to 22 feet, and to increase the number of wall signs from a maximum of 1 to 2 signs.
Good evening. Can I have the applicant, please?
Good evening. I am John Hollo, Hollo. I represent the tenant with power of attorney from the property owner. And I'm also joined by Paul Kozlowski, who is our signage vendor.
Okay. Paul, if you're going to speak, could you just introduce yourself, spell your last name, and give your address, please, for the record?
My name Paul Kozlowski. That's Kozlowski. My home address, what you're asking for, is 11142 South Campbell Avenue in Chicago.
All right. Home or business would have been fine.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
It's fine.
And for the record, my address is 21333 Haggerty Road, which is Haggert, and that's in Novi, Novi, Michigan, 48375.
All right. So whenever you're ready, you can start.
So thank you very much. So we are asking for relief on a few points. The first being the height of the building sign. The architectural features of this building are such that the sign actually would not fit or be displayed at the required lower elevation. So we have the renderings being shown here showing the signs being mounted within the architectural features of the building. In terms of no more than one wall sign being allowed, we are obviously looking for signage on the main road for the visibility and the safety of the traffic passing by, for our customers to be able to see our location. But within the center itself, to have the secondary sign allowed off of that main road. There is another tenant within this building, so we're just trying to simply differentiate ourselves in terms of where our entry point is, which is the center point of the building. There were, under the previous tenant, which was a Tudor time, there were signs in both these locations. So we are just requesting those signs are essentially going back in the same spots the original was. And I believe that's covering all of the points.
All right. Does anyone on the board have any questions on the application, please?
No, thanks. No, thank you.
No. All right. Planning, do you have any questions or concerns?
No, thank you.
No. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to be heard on this application?
No, Chairman.
No. All right. Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Good evening, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next case on the agenda is case number 18463, AJ Caruso, 300 West Main Street, Smithtown. The location of the property, the south side of West Main Street, 670 feet west of Brookside Drive. The property is zoned NB. The applicant is requesting variances to permit a principal structure, a storage building, to be located behind another existing principal structure, which is an office building. To permit a principal structure not to have its own frontage on a public street for the storage building.
Good evening. Can I have the applicant, please?
Good evening, board members.
I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you. Could you just repeat your name, please?
AJ Caruso, applicant.
Okay. All right. And your address, please?
300 West Main Street, Smithtown, New York.
Okay, fine.
I'm joined by my architect, Mancini Architect is here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Nick Tramontano from Mancini Architecture.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, could you state your name, spell your last name, and give your address, please?
Nick Tramontano, Tramontano, from Mancini Architecture at 222 Middle Country Road here in Smithtown.
Okay, thank you.
So it's an existing storage building in the back of the property that we're looking to do a facade renovation and then interior alteration to separate out into separate tenants, which makes it a principal use for the zoning. It's an existing building, so we don't feel.
I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Let me see that. How's this?
We'll try it. Thank you.
So it's an existing building. We don't feel it's going to have any impact on the neighborhood as it's all either developed or vacant land or the LIRR behind it. And as such, it's also little impact on the environment since it's again existing. So we feel that it's a good use to put in the rear.
To put
in the rear.
Did you get that?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Is that it?
Yeah, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer anything.
Okay. Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thank you.
No. Planning?
Just a couple of questions. The first being, I'm assuming that the building is being divided into 3 tenant spaces.
Yes.
You currently have any tenants signed on to rent the space? And if so, do you know what the uses are?
As of now, the storage A is going to be for the Caruso Properties, his company. The other 2, I don't believe he has any tenants.
Okay. And just a comment for you. The chairman and I were at the site earlier today to do a site inspection and did see quite a bit of outdoor storage in the back of the property around and behind the storage building. The property zoned NB, so there's no outdoor storage permitted. Is that going to be cleaned up?
Yes.
That's a yes?
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to be heard on this application?
Chairman, I have somebody with their hand up here. Their hand was up. Hang on a second, it just disappeared. Okay. Hang on, okay. All right, I've got Diane C. Carroll. Go ahead, Diane.
The video, can you hear me?
Yes, we could hear you. Could you state your name, spell your last name, and give your address, please, for the record?
Sure, last name Carroll, C-A-R-R-O-L-L, and I reside at 15 Lower Road in Smithtown, New York. I just want to bring to this board's attention that this is the old 84 lumber warehouse, which was, at the time it was acquired, dilapidated, and what is being proposed is really a beautification of this building as it existed with 84 lumber. And what you needed to remember, if we're all old timers here, this building was open where people drove in and out all day long, and you were able to have your lumber cut to specification. So by what this is proposed, you're going to not only beautify this building, but whoever may come in contact is going to be overjoyed with the fact that you're not going to have saws running from 8 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. You're not going to have that sawdust. You're not going to have any of that. What is being proposed is really more of a storage unit. So it will really beautify and enhance this area. There was a constant traffic with 84 lumber that I don't know if, I see some of the members of the board have been here for more than 20 years. If you remember the traffic from 84 lumber where you drove into this warehouse and then they serviced you and you drove out and around, you're not going to have that traffic by just these 3 garage doors. And I really do think it's going to help our neighborhood in that area. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else wants to be heard on this application?
No, Chairman.
No. Does the applicant want to come back and address it, or basically she spoke in your favor, so.
Yeah, she did a good job.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Okay, can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you.
The next case on the agenda is case number 18464, Christina Spuglio, 55 Roxbury Drive, Comac. The location of the property, the southwest corner of Roxbury Drive and Grendon Lane. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the front yard setback on Grendon Lane from the lot line from 10 feet to 0 for an existing 5-foot PVC fence.
Good evening. Can I have the applicant, please?
Hi.
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Sure. Christina Spuglio, 55 Roxbury Drive, Comac, New York.
All right. And would you like to tell us why you're here tonight, Christina?
Sure. I'm just requesting a variance for an existing 5-foot PVC fence, which was here when we purchased the house.
Okay. We rode by your property today. It looks like the fence poses no visibility problems
Right.
from coming out from the side streets or your neighbor's driveway. So that's a good thing.
Okay.
Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thank you.
No, thanks.
Planning?
Just one question. The chairman and I were by earlier today to take a look at the fence, and we did not see your sign posted anywhere on your property.
Yes,
Was
we
the
were
sign
having
put up?
Yes, it's up right now. I had a few issues with the weather. It fell a few times. So this morning, I actually noticed it when I went to take my daughter to school. And when I came back, I put it back up.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to be heard on this application?
No, Chairman.
No? All right. Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Good evening.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
You too.
Mr. Chairman, the next 2 cases are for the same site. They are 2 separate applications. Would you like them read together?
Yes.
Okay. The first case, case number 18465, John Burns, 700 Middle Country Road, St. James. The location of the property, the southeast corner of Middle Country Road and Lake Avenue. The property is zoned WSI. The applicant is requesting variances to increase the maximum height of a wall sign from 15 feet to 26 feet for sign 1, to increase the maximum height of a wall sign from 15 feet to 26 feet for sign 2, to increase the maximum height of a wall sign from 15 feet to 20 feet for sign 3, to increase the number of wall signs from a maximum of 1 to 3 signs, to permit a wall sign not to face a public street. The second application, case number 18466, John Burns, 700 Middle Country Road, St. James. The location, the southeast corner of Middle Country Road and Lake Avenue. The property is zoned WSI. The applicant is requesting variances to increase the maximum height of a wall sign from 15 feet to 18 feet for signs 4 and 5, to increase the maximum number of wall signs from 1 to 2.
Good evening.
Good evening, Christina Bravin, Morano Expediting. I'm the agent for the applicant and property owner, Lexus of Smithtown, 700 Middle Country Road. My address, office is 2938 Hempstead Turnpike, Suite 212, Levittown, New York, 11756.
Thank you.
Thank you. So as you heard, there are 2 case numbers, similar applications, same property. The first request, as was already noted, we are looking to have 3 wall signs as opposed to 1. 1 sign not facing a public street and increasing the maximum height from 15 feet to 26 feet and from 15 feet to 20 feet. So as you're familiar with the area and the car dealerships, due to the large bay doors, the construction of the building allows for the higher parapet wall where we would install the signs, requiring us to exceed the maximum height allowed. It's not uncommon for the area. I will mention this, 827 Middle Country Road, Smith Haven, Mazda. We filed the application and were granted a height variance on June 11th, 2019, case number 18173, for permission to allow 3 wall signs as well as the height variance. Again, not uncommon for the area. And you can see here, they are just individual letters, but the height is taken from the overall highest point. And the second request, signs number 4 and 5 noted on the site plan, which is on the pre-owned building closer to Lake Avenue and Middle Country Road. Again, requesting the height variance from 15 feet to 18 feet and increase the number of permitted wall signs from 1 to 2. Very similar letters here, individual logo type on the north elevation. And many of the dealers in this area have been renovating, and Lexus is undergoing the same renovations to have a more modern look. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. I have full plans on all the letters and the site plan as well.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
Yes, I do. Could you tell us, just for the record, the reason you need the wall sign not facing the public street?
So it's called out as not facing the public street, but the location of the property, the way it's on the corner of Lake Avenue and Middle Country Road, if you may go back to that site plan, it's not necessarily facing the interior parking lot. They are essentially facing the public street. I just think it has to be noted like that in the denial. So they are located above the entrances and just to direct the customers and potential customers in to the buildings at those locations.
Okay, sounds good to me.
All right. Anyone else?
No, thanks.
No. Planning, do you have any questions or concerns?
No, thank you.
All right. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to be heard on this application?
No, Chairman.
Okay. Could I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Okay.
Motion has been made. It's been seconded. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Good evening.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
The next case on the agenda is case number 18467, Janine S. and Richard M. Williams, 45 Stephen Place, Smithtown. The location of the property, the west side of Stephen Place, 411 feet south of Buxton Way. The property is zoned R15. The applicant is requesting a variance to permit environmentally sensitive lands to be altered where depth of groundwater is equal to or less than 10 feet for a proposed 20-foot by 40-foot in-ground swimming pool.
Good evening. Can I have the applicant, please?
Name Williams, 45 Stephen Place, Smithtown, New York.
All right. Are you gonna speak on this application, or are you gonna have someone speak for you?
I believe Perfection is on the line.
I am, sir.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you'd like this gentleman to speak on your behalf?
Yes, please.
Okay, fine. Sir, can you introduce yourself, spell your last name, and give your company's address, please?
Absolutely. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Damiano. My house.
Can you spell that? Spell that, sir.
Perfection Swimming Pools, 531 Route 111 in Hauppauge, 11788.
I need to, can you please spell your last name?
The last name is D as in David, O, M as in Mary, I-A-N-O.
Thank you.
Okay.
What we're looking to do is get a swimming pool installed in Mrs. Williams' premises. We have the water table situation. We did have test hole dug to show that the water table was not an issue with the structure of the swimming pool. Location was going to be set up so that it wasn't an issue of any land preservation problems.
Okay. When you did the test hole, where did you hit water? What was the depth?
I believe it was at 7.5 feet.
7.5? Okay. All right. Is there anyone on the board like to be heard on this application?
No, thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
No. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to be heard on this application?
No, Chairman.
No. All right, can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you and good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you.
The next case on the agenda, case number 18279, Tad and Kelly Krasovsky, 8 Creek Road, Smithtown. The location of the property, the south side of Creek Road, 419 feet east of Old Willets Path. The property is zoned R43. The applicant is requesting variances to permit environmentally sensitive lands to be altered, steep slopes greater than 15%, to permit construction of a garage, pergola, breezeway, retaining walls, fence, and driveway gates within 100 feet of wetland and natural surface water features, to permit construction within 10 feet of environmentally sensitive land, slopes greater than 25%, to reduce the minimum rear yard from 100 feet to 17 feet, to decrease the minimum setback of a 5-foot retaining wall from the property line from 5 feet to 1 foot, to increase the number of stories of an accessory structure from 1 to 2, to increase the maximum height of an accessory structure from 15 feet to 23 feet, to increase the maximum permitted square footage of an accessory structure from 750 square feet to 1,854 square feet for a proposed 1,854 square foot, 2-story detached garage.
Good evening. Do we have the applicant here?
Yes.
Could you just state your name and address for the record, please?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tad Krasovsky, K-R-E-S-O-F-S-K-Y. I reside at 8 Creek Road, Smithtown, New York, 11787.
And I see Mr. O'Connell here. Would you like him to speak on your behalf?
Yes, please.
Okay, fine. Can you introduce yourself? Spell your last name and give your address, please.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chairman, members of the board. For the record, my name is Todd O'Connell, doing business at 1200 Veterans Highway, Hauppauge, New York, and I am the architect for the Krasovskys.
Okay.
Okay. To tell you a little bit about this project and some of the roadblocks that we're dealing with here. He has a current garage on the property itself that we're replacing with a new garage. The reason why we're doing this is that the existing garage that's there won't fit his cars. He actually has, two vans, actually, I believe 3. And the vans themselves are very long. They're extended vans. He likes to keep them in the garage. He likes to keep them, protected from the elements. He doesn't like to leave them outside. So the garage, we need a little bit deeper than what's there. Currently, what's there, he can't even fit his trucks in the garage. You could actually even see on the right side, or even the truck that's on the left side, they're deeper than the garage itself and higher. He can't even get them in the doors. So we're looking to get a garage where we can fit his vehicles in there and still have some room in that garage for some his toys, kayaks and things of that nature that he can use just for his family storage as well. The location of the garage itself, we're actually shifting it closer to the home and connecting it to the home with the breezeway, so he can walk from the house to the garage and be protected from the elements. The other thing to tell you about the garage itself, that if you look at the what they're stating in the call as it being a 2-story garage, that is something that we are amending, and we submitted, I believe, the plans which you have there already. They were on a screen. The actual square footage is going to be 1,778, as we've eliminated the finished attic area. So it's going to be, the actual request that we're looking for is 1,078. Alrighty. The project itself, you could see that there is, a very, very, very steep hill in the back. The existing garage that's currently there actually acts as a retaining wall on the property. So the new garage will actually do the, do the same. We'll replace the existing garage that you can see it's built into the hill there. And we're looking to have the new garage do the same thing and, protect the property from that grade, the high slope that's currently there. The property itself, there is a pond on the property. So this property, has jurisdiction of the DEC. The DEC was at the property. They've seen the project. They have no objection. They've given a thumbs up on everything that we're looking to do. But some of the requests in terms of setbacks and location of this garage, not only because that's where the garage is, but we're asking for reliefs on rear yards, because there's really no other place to put it. We got the ponds in the front yard. We're trying to stay as far back from the pond as possible and still have some land left, for his family to be able to utilize. If they have a family, they like to play and, have some space there. That's we're just trying to put the garage in a position that would be suited best, not only for his family, but also with something that the DEC was favorable to grant. The DEC, all right, where they require 100, you could see, I think we're, there's no place for us to go. The retaining walls that we're installing in the back of the property are there to protect the home and the garage itself. In the call, they do talk about a 12-inch retaining wall. That's actually an existing retaining wall that's already there that protects them from the neighboring site. That is on the east side of the property. It's an existing retaining wall, and that's the wall that's only 12 inches is away that they're talking about on the call itself. So, some of the merits of this, is this going to cause a negative environmental impact? We went to the DEC. That's what they're all about. The Department of Environmental Conservation, they gave us a permit to build this. We didn't feel that it would have a negative impact, knowing what, the property that we were dealing with. We feel that replacing the garage itself, if you were to look at the, the front of the existing garage, we're enhancing the character of the home itself. We're going to build something that will be more, continuous with the home. match the home, something that would be, I think very pleasant to look at and, be fitting with the neighborhood. And then also, not only that, but keep the cars off the driveway. We could actually have a place where the cars can fit. And that's gonna, help the, the area where you're not seeing cars in the driveway and you could keep them inside. In terms of looking at options here, I worked with the owners on this project probably for about 1.5 years, 2 years. They were actually before this board a long time ago, where they actually wanted even a larger, garage, which, we pulled the reins back dramatically on what the original proposal was from 10 years ago. So we felt this was, really the minimum, that, he could be happy with, that he could actually, use in the fashion that he would need to use the garage in. So we really felt that what's before you today is really the best, proposal, to talk to you all about, knowing the merits of what we're trying to accomplish, as well as the issues that we're dealing with on the property itself. And with that said, I'd love to answer any questions that the board may have. Thank you.
I just want to make sure I have this correct. You're going from 750 square feet to 1,078 square feet.
That is correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
And the reason for the height is these larger trucks with the racks on top in order
That's
to
correct.
fit it in there?
That's correct. Yeah, you can see in the picture, the trucks are there. You couldn't even fit them in the garage.
Yeah. All right. Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
I do, just a couple. Mr. O'Connell.
Yes, sir.
Do you know the height of the existing garage?
Of the existing garage, being I was replacing it, I did not, take any photographs and measurements of that garage. But, I can tell you, I've been practicing for quite a while. I have a pretty good eye to say that garage to the peak is, likely 20 feet. Knowing that the garage door that's there is 7.
Okay, thank you. And then the only other question I have is, even though you're not using the second floor, you've kind of pulled that out, you still need the 23 feet in height?
To the ridge, just for aesthetics, yes. I mean, it's, could that be slightly lower? I need the height but where the doors are. That's a must. And I'm going to let Tad talk about that as well. But where the doors are, you need that height. And to give the aesthetic character of the home itself, if once I raise that door, to have the nice dormers and everything to match the character of the home, and it's something that's a little more in scale to the home, we thought it would just be a really nice look to the home. But I think Tad wanted to talk a little bit more about that height. Tad, can I have Tad talk?
Certainly.
He was raising his hand. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Todd. Yeah, since the height of the doors are 9 feet and it allows the vans to fit in there, because we're not putting a second floor in the garage, we're not going to have a floor or ceiling to actually mount the motor for the garage doors. And because of that, the actual garage doors are not going to be going like a traditional one horizontally. They're actually going to be going up more like a 45. Okay, because there's no way to mount the brackets or the motor to pull the door up. And because of that, the door is 9 feet high. And once we raise it up fully, that's basically another 9 feet of the door being up. And then from that point forward, we're also gonna have the motor behind the door. So when we're done speaking about it with the motor and the mechanism, we're looking about close to 20 feet. And that's really for the height of that ridge. And not only that, but I'd say coincidentally, aesthetically, I did a run through on a Google website where the proportion of my home, because it's up on a hill, aesthetically, it also helps, but more so because of the garage door. That's really the whole reason for the height.
If I could also add, we're actually not even before the board for a height variance, but I would also like to say that the neighbor behind the garage, they look over the garage. So even though, we're closer to the rear neighbor, the back neighbor can't even see the garage as it's below the hill. You know, they look right over the top of it from where they are, and their house is so far, you know, from where that garage is. You know, they have quite a big rear property there to the rear neighbor. So they, you know, so you know, the garage itself really has no impact to the neighbor behind them.
So Blaze, I guess this question will be for planning. I see that the height variance is called out, but is it not necessary because the structure is attached with a breezeway and becomes part of the principal structure then?
Well, there is a breezeway, but it's an open breezeway. And I did have a conversation with the building director about this, and he said it's still considered a detached garage.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other members of the board have any questions on this application?
No, thank you.
All right, planning, do you have any questions or concerns?
No questions. I just want to make the board aware that the garage that is existing right now, I do believe that the Krasovskys did go before the board about 10 or so years ago, as Mr. O'Connell said. But I don't know that there was any follow-up to that application. And the existing garage that's there now was actually constructed without permits or COs. So it's not a simple replacement, but more of like a legalization and or a rebuilding of a garage that's not permitted or CO'd.
All right. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, thank you, Blaze. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to be heard on this application?
No, Chairman.
No? Okay, can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second. Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Have a great night, everyone.
Guys,
Good evening.
Thank
You do the same. And that concludes our meeting for tonight.